Director of Development here at Aging Matters, and we have an exciting topic today. We're here with Tim Hollingsworth, and we're going to talk about tax time and how some different options are for your individual retirement accounts and donations at the end of the year. So Tim, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, go back, I was real little, I got my PhD and MBA from Michigan State, back when we had a football team, the good old days. And since then, I've been tied up with universities. My latest position was at Florida Institute of Technology. I was Dean of the College of Business for 15 years, and I ran Florida Tech Consulting for about 5 years after that. And then I decided that I'd like to be able to work from home, so I went into my own consulting business. And that's what I do now, and it's quite nice because I can dress just about any way I want. I've been working from home before it was necessary.
Yes, a whole new world now, right?
It is.
So, and Tim also sits on our board of directors. So
I'm sorry, I forgot
yeah,
to say
the most
that.
important part.
I even have my shirt on, and I'm the vice chair.
And how long have you been on the board of directors for Aging Matters in Brevard?
You didn't tell me you were going to ask me that. I didn't think I'd have any hard questions. Probably 4 or 5 years
4 or
now.
5 years. He's great. So he very much supports us.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're here today to talk about end-of-year options, specifically individual retirement accounts, and the required minimum distribution that people have to take every year. Can you tell us what this is?
Yes, by law, after you get to be 70 and a half, which sadly I've passed, but after you get that, you have a minimum distribution that you have to take out of your IRA every year, and that's taxable.
Okay.
So when you combine that with Social Security payments and any other kind of annuities that you may have, that all becomes your taxable income.
Okay, so once you hit 70 and a half, you must start taking withdrawals.
You have to take a minimum distribution. You don't have to take it all out, but you have to have a minimum distribution.
So what are some options if it's taxable? Of course, we don't want to pay the taxes on that. It's painful. So what are some
Yes.
what are some options that they have here, specifically with a nonprofit like us?
Well, one of the things that you can do with your minimum is you can designate it for a not-for-profit organization as a charitable donation, and then it is not taxable.
It's not taxable.
Basically, it's because it never becomes part of your income. Now, in order for that to happen, you have to have whoever holds your IRA, they have to deposit it with the charitable organization. And it has to meet all the criteria that any other donation would meet. You can't get anything in kind. You can't designate how the funds will be used, except to say they will be used by that particular organization. So, but once you do that, as I say, it never shows up as income to you, but it does count as a distribution. So you lower your tax bill, basically.
So I guess the important takeaway there is that you cannot have the institution that holds your IRA make the check to you and then you donate to
That's right. It cannot come through you. It has to go directly to the organization that you would like to donate it to. Now, with that being said, you can do a distribution of up to $100,000, depending on what your distribution is. And husbands and wives are treated separately, so you can make dual donations, as the case may be. And the nice part about it is, it's a nice way for people to be able to keep up their charitable donations after they've passed their working years. I mean, they're usually not working, although I was, but they're usually not working very long after that, and they can still handle their charitable donations without, and I shouldn't say without, but being able to avoid some taxes that they wouldn't have to pay.
And right now, with the pandemic, here at Aging Matters in Brevard, our donations, our fundraising donations are down 50%. It's been a struggle of a year for us. We've done the best we can with what we've had, and the community has been kind, but these kind of donations are just imperative for us to continue to move forward. So that's why we're talking about it today.
And I think that's the other thing, it just, you bring that up, I keep thinking in the back of my mind about bequests. Don't forget what you can do with your IRA when you die. You can also make that payable to a charitable foundation and save some inheritance tax if, in some cases.
Absolutely.
And I think what you point out, it's these are really hard times because a lot of donations are coming from people who are very insecure at this point. I don't know whether working from home is going to last. I don't know whether I'm going to have a job, and I don't know if I'm really working in the gig economy where I might have a job today and not tomorrow and the next day. And when people are insecure, they have a hesitancy to make any donations, and that's a real problem for Aging Matters. And the other thing, it's a real problem for Aging Matters because of what we do, and that is, you know, the reason I'm on the board is one day I may need meals. And I want to make sure that we're in business to deliver Meals on Wheels and to help seniors in their homes, because I don't want to be institutionalized, and a lot of seniors don't want to be institutionalized, and boy, we sure do save a lot of that from happening, and I think it's just so important. So when you find a way like this that you can support this kind of an organization, and by the way, sorry Marty, but I have to plug all the charitable organizations.
Absolutely.
You can do this with any charitable organization.
Absolutely.
Up to $100,000, and so if, depending on what your IRA minimum requirement is, then you may be able to help more than one charitable organization.
So are you allowed to, let's say your budget's $100,000, are you allowed to pick 4 or 5 different nonprofits to give to with that chunk of money?
Certainly.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. And we've been very community oriented right now. You know, as a community, we're trying to band together.
Yeah, and one of the other things I would say is, when we're talking about this, it's also good to talk to your financial advisor.
Absolutely.
About it, to see how to put all this together for your benefit as well as for the charitable organization's benefit.
Absolutely.
And I do want to say, again, you can't get anything for it. It has to be just like a regular charitable donation. You cannot designate it except to the organization.
Yeah, it cannot be restricted. One of the questions that probably you should bring up with your tax advisor is the question that I was asked was, will the donor be allowed to take the standard deduction and also the charitable deduction? So that's something that you can bring up with your financial advisor just to kind of get, you know, the fine tuning of what's best for you and your family right now, as well as helping out our nonprofit as well as other nonprofits in the community. It's been a struggle this year, and we could not have done it without Brevard County, so we want to make sure that everybody knows that we're in this together. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think one of the things is that people can ask for a calculator that's on the internet that can be used to figure out what your calculation is. So if they want to contact you,
sure,
or anybody here at Aging Matters, we can show them the websites that designate what this is all about and where this information is.
Wonderful. So we want to thank you today for coming up. We appreciate your time. We're also going to send out some information, so be looking for our end of year campaign letter. We're just doing the final push to get through 2020 and ready to see 2021, right? Has to be better, right?
Yeah, I would say this is the first time I've ever been interviewed with a mask on.
That's right. That's right. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening and have a great day.
Thank you.